Hello, everybody. This is Brad Reed. I'm a real life trader, and I'm here reminding you to be good. And by good, I mean get out of debt, achieve your financial dreams, and give generously to your community. This is going to be an attempt to create a budget live. If you've not seen part one of the budget, check the description box. I will put a link to the PowerPoint presentation on the budget. It basically goes into who needs a budget, what is a budget, how to create a budget, and how to use it, and some tricks, and tips, and all that kind of fun stuff. Terrence is asking me how my lunch was. It was lunch with my wife, so of course it was awesome. Yeah, no, we had a good time. We don't get to eat lunch very often anymore with her work there and my work here. So yeah, it was a good time to get to spend together. Okay, budgeting. First of all, I'm just going to do a budget for one pay period, but at the end we can talk about how to expand it. Over here, I'm going to call this income or expense. In this column, I'm going to say, I'm going to put what is budgeted. I'm going to create a column for the actual amount of the expense. And then I'm going to call this one balance, or I'm going to call it dollars. I'm just going to call it dollar. I'm just going to call it dollars. Maybe I'll think of a better name for it. And then this one, I'm going to say budget remaining. So those are the four columns. Now in this video, I'm going to go a little bit fast. If you guys are trying to follow along at home with your own spreadsheets, find where the pause button is, and feel free to pause, go update your own spreadsheets, and then come back here to these spreadsheets. Also, I need to, for the sake of all the lawyers out in California, they get paid way too much money. I'm going to talk about a broad kind of high-level overview. If you're looking for specific budgeting advice or someone to create a budget specifically for you, you need to seek a competent individual in your area. This video will not do that for you. Okay, so for the income or expenses in my family, my wife has a salary. I have a business, so let's call it Brad Bus Income. And then we have a savings account that gives us like a few pennies of dividends. So I'm just going to call that bank dividends, and then I'm going to have something for other income. And then let's go into some of the expenses, and let's do the retirement payment, and that will be an expense, not an income. Tell you what, I'm going to grab these first four. I'm going to click on this thing, and I'm going to make those light green so I know that those are different. All right, so retirement, what else do we have? Food, let's call it groceries, because food can sometimes be restaurants, or it can be, why did that turn green? I don't want that green. Call it groceries. We're going to have a mortgage payment. What other expenses are we going to have? We're going to have an electric bill. We're going to have a water bill. Why is it making all of these green? It's not easy being green. Okay, I'm not going to do a full-blown one. I just want to give enough where you guys can get the idea, but I do want to get into some of these. Okay. Going to call this one personal escrow. And in the video, I talk about some of the really large expenses, like the house taxes that you have to pay, maybe car registrations once a year that you have to pay, life insurance bills that come in. These things that come in one time a year, and they're usually a significant value. What my family does is we put in about I think a little over $200 every pay period into a savings account, and I took the total amount of all of these expenses, added them all up. I guess that's what total means. Divided it by 24, because we get paid 24 times in a year, right? Twice each month. There's 12 months, 2 paychecks a month. That means 24 payments. And so every time we get a paycheck, we put a little bit of this money into this separate savings account. And by doing that, when the house taxes comes due, there's enough money there to pay for it. When the life insurance payment or bill comes in, there's enough money out of that separate savings account to go pay for it. So I'm going to include that. What else? I should put a few more here. David, Terrence, what am I forgetting? You guys are here. You guys are familiar with this. I could put a home improvement fund. I guess there's clothes. Sometimes we've got to buy clothes. Gasoline. Okay. I'm just going to leave it there for now. If there are any you guys think that I'm leaving out, go ahead and type them in, and I will add some. All right. Let's say that Jenny's salary, and this is not true. I'm just going to, phone bill. Ooh, good one. Let's call it cable. Is that cell phone? Or I guess we have two. So let's call it cable, internet, telephone. Let's also have cell phone. Actually, you know what? Jenny's got a cell phone, and I have a cell phone. Cool. Good ones. My dad says there are autos expense. Cool. So I actually call that car, and in parentheses, not gas. So I put gasoline in one category, and tires, oil changes, a $550 repair on the rear CV joint. That one hurt, but that's okay. All right, so let's give this family some money. Let's say this one is $1,500 every twice a month, and let's give this. Okay, so the wife. I'm being very progressive here. The wife is going to make more than the husband. I don't know anything about that. Yes, my wife is my sugar mom. Bank dividends are going to be like $1 a month, and then other, we just won't budget for that. Okay, retirement payment, I don't know, what do you want to call that, $400? Groceries, let's also spend $400. The mortgage, let's call that $800. The electric bill, what is that, $150? The water bill, maybe that's around $50. The home improvement bucket, actually, let's leave that enclosed. And gasoline. Gasoline comes up to what? Maybe $70. Cable, internet, telephone. Well, let's call that $150 because we got lots and lots of cable channels. Cell phones are, what is that? $90 a month. And other expenses for the car. Okay, I'm going to leave that like it is. Okay, so down here at the bottom, I'm going to have an area called totals. Now, if you are following along at home, actually, and I'm going to do that too. Tell you what, let's not call that totals. Let's call that expense, 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 expense. And I do this on my personal budget. We have a couple of blank ones. So if we have one that hits us, like our daughter, when she got to a certain age, she started getting into dance and then swimming classes. And she started needing $20 here for a field trip at school or something like that. And so we had to create a category that we call Isabel expenses. And now that my son's of a certain age, we have one for him. Ooh, Terrence, excellent one. Tithe. How much money are we going to give to the church? So if we make $2,500 in this pay period, let's give $250 to the church. Awesome one. You are awesome. Dad, let's say we have fuel efficient cars, or we don't drive very far, or this is twice a month instead of once a month. So this mock budget we got here is just for half of a month. All right, so we got some blank expenses here, and we're going to call this one totals. And again, guys, I'm just totally making this up. Now, the totals here, I'm just going to do the expenses. So I'm going to type, and if you want to do this in googledocs.com, you're going to have an online spreadsheet. Excel pretty much lives on the hard drive here, but Microsoft does have a web version. Google Docs GOOGLEDOCS.com. Here, I can type it. GoogleDocs.com. They have a web version of a spreadsheet. You can do it there. But at any rate, you can do it a number of different places. Each of these calculations are going to be slightly different based on what software that you use. But for Excel, I can say equals sum, open parentheses, and hang on, let me check my notes on how I want to do this. Yeah, I'm just going to do my expenses. So I'm going to click this first box and drag it up to the second one and hit close parentheses and then enter. So when we look back at this, I see this says equals sum B8, because B8 is the first cell of my expenses, colon B25, because that's the last cell of my expenses. And I can see right here already that the expenses, the total budget expenses, are going to be $2,650, but my income is only $2,500. So that's a problem. So we got to cut back somewhere. Maybe we got to drop some cell phones. We got to cut back on maybe the personal escrow or the water bill. Now, what I am looking at is that the retirement payment and the personal escrow we can do every pay period, but the mortgage is only once per pay period. The electric bill is only once per pay period. So I do have this a little bit backwards. Let's just give this family more money, just to make it easier. Let's say that they make $3,000 each. Say they make $3,000 twice a month. That's $6,000, $72,000 a year for a two-income household. That's not stretching things too much. All right, so that is roughly the budget, and then they can come back and they can put $20 for home improvement, $50 in a bucket for clothes, and for car, not gas. Oil changes only happen every 3 or 4 months. Those are the main expenses. Let's just say $20 goes into the bucket every couple of pay periods. All right. So over here in this dollars column, we're going to figure out how much money this. Well, let's go do the actuals. Let's say they actually get paid $2,000, or she gets paid $2,000. He actually gets paid $1,000. This ends up being 75 cents. This is nothing. Retirement ends up being $400. And then just go ahead and just put some random numbers in here. Okay, for groceries, let's say we go over on groceries. Mortgage is always the same. Electric bill, it's winter, so we saved a little bit of money. The water bill is a water bill. Personal escrow has to be that. Home improvement, we didn't spend any on. Clothes, it's Halloween, so we went over on. Gasoline, we were a little bit under. The cable bills, cell phone bills are the cell phone bills. And we didn't spend anything on the car, and we definitely put money into tithe. Okay, so now I want to know, geez, how much money have I actually spent so far? Well, I can put equals. Actually, I'm going to do this a better way. I'm going to go over to this cell where I have my totals. I'm going to copy it. Let's see. Okay, copy it. And then I'm going to go over to this new one, and I'm going to paste. I'm just going to hit paste. And I see I have $2,705 spent in this pay period. So the good news is I have $35 left over. Cool. Now, one thing that I like to have is I want to know on each category, category by category, how much do I have remaining in the budget? So I'm going to look at what is budgeted and what has actually spent. And I'm basically just going to say equals this one minus that one. Now, it doesn't really mean much for your income because the incomes are generally a one-time thing, but You can adjust that how you want to. Um, so I can hit Control C here for copy and paste it and paste it and paste it and paste it, paste it, and get all these things. Now, one thing that I see here is that I have 25 cents remaining on income. That really doesn't make sense. So I don't do this in real life for incomes. And if you want to do it for yours, that's fine, but I don't. And I noticed one thing over here. I'm negative $20 for in the budget. Can you have negative $20 budget remaining? And not really. So in my spreadsheet, I've actually written a formula, and it says if parentheses, click on the actual cell, if that is actually greater or equal to the budget, then just make it 0. Else, make it the budget minus the actual. Clear enough? Probably not. So what it says, the formula that I've written in this cell right here, which is cell D8, I say if C8, which is the actual expenditure, is greater than or equal to B8, which is the budget expenditure, then make it 0. So I put if C8 is greater than or equal to B8, comma, 0, comma, B8 minus C8. And what that means is if the actual number is greater than the budget, then just make this 0. Otherwise, make it the actual difference. So if I copy that and I start pasting it down, you'll notice that when I went over on groceries, it just turned to 0. On this one where I was under on the electric bill, it says I have $25 in the budget remaining. And I can go ahead and just paste this all the way down. And I see in some of these buckets, I have money left over. Cool. All right, one more column I want to do, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about that. Terrence Young is referencing a book called The Richest Man in Babylon, and there's a bullet point in there that says pay yourself first. And I've done that. I've said retirement right here. So that's my retirement payment. I list it as an expense next to everything else, but yeah, I call that retirement payment. So in this category, I'm going to keep track of how much money I have based on what has been spent. So I'm going to start with the income, with the actual income. So I'm going to say equals C4. And then for this one, I'm going to have to add up all my income. So this one is going to equal the cell above it. I click there, click the plus sign, and then I click this cell over here, which is the actual for that one. So now I see if both of these people get paid, I'm going to have $3,000 to spend. Oh, and then if the bank wants to send me some income, then I have what I had before, which is the cell above it, plus this actual one. And then if I get some money here, let's say I sell my skydiving rig and I get some extra money, then I have this one plus whatever this ends up being. Now below this, I'm going to be taking money out of what I have to spend. So I'm going to put equals the cell above it minus the actual amount. And the same thing here, equals the cell above it minus the actual amount over here. Now I'm going to hit this one and hit Control C. I'm going to highlight all of these cells here, and I'm going to hit Control V. Now the beauty of this is, down here I see how much money I should have in the bank. Because if I had $2,000 coming in, $1,000 coming in, and 75 cents coming in, I have $3,000.75 of income. And then if I have all of these expenses going out, those expenses, then I end up with $295.75. So this number down there tells me what number I should have in my bank account. Terrence, Terrence says, do you have a column to identify items you are going over budget with, or how much? I do. but I don't know how to incorporate it on this worksheet amount of time that we have. Definitely I can come in here, I can say, hey, look, this amount was over, so I can make that one a different color. That doesn't show up very well. Now maybe I want to make that one that color. This one I was under, so I can come in and I can make it that color. This one I was over, so I can turn it colors. You can do things like that. But what I end up doing is over here on the side, I have a running total. So I go through my spreadsheet, and for every time I have a, let's just say a clothing payment, I have a total, and then I have a budget. So budget and actual for the whole entire year, and then I can tell if I'm over, when or where, how much. And because I use this every single day, I don't really need to color code these because I do it every single day. I know when I go over or when I'm under. Now, one thing that I have found useful as well is to add up how much I have left in the budget. So this is budget remaining. So again, I can go over here, I can copy this, I can paste it there, and I see I have $80 left of things I have budgeted to spend. So here I see I have $295.75. I have $80 left of things that I need to spend money on, right? I have $20 from the home improvement bucket I haven't spent on, or maybe let's say I haven't had the electric bill yet. Well, now I see I have $420.75 in the bank account, but I have to save $205. I can't go spend all this because I have to spend $205 left on something. Well, I see the electric bill is unpaid. Or maybe I'm going to have more grocery payments, and so when I go to the grocery store, this ends up being something like $20 plus $68 plus $150 plus $32, and then every time I go to the grocery store, I see I have $130 left to spend for groceries. Well, let's go say I go to the grocery store and I spend $100. So I add that to that grocery line. I hit enter. Now it says I have $30 left. Well, if we're 2 or 3 days left till the next paycheck and my family's hungry, I got to cook dinner. Well, I'm probably going to buy a box of pasta and maybe some ground beef. But if, you know, maybe I got 2 or 3 days left and I got $120, well, I may go buy, oh gosh, I don't know. I may go buy some tilapia and some bell peppers and some rice and cook that up. And, you know, that may cost $80 with all the trimmings and fixings and sodas and whatever. And then maybe I can put $40 into an extra savings. So maybe I have a savings bucket down here, and whatever's left over, I put in there. So I see that I have $245 next left. I've got $480. Hang on, let's just say this number minus that number. This is my slush. This is what I have left over. So I have $235 left over. So the church says, hey, we got some issues and we need a new roof. Well, I can donate extra money to the church. I can go give them $100 and I can put $135 into my savings fund, and I'm seeing right now that I still have 75 cents left over. So the point of this budget is, as the month goes on, you can go through here and you can make decisions on putting extra money into savings or donating extra money, or you know, I need a new suit, so it looks like this month I have some money, so let's go put, I can go buy the money, but I'm going to document it every single time. So this is one way, a little bit of how I use my budget. My budget, as you guys know, I'm an Excel nerd, and I have tons of formulas that follow through on everything. But this will get you started. As you start using the budget, you'll see you have more needs or less needs, and you can build that functionality into your spreadsheet. If you have questions, email me, Brad@reallifetrading.com, and I will do my best to help you. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, there's a part 1 to this video on the budget, so be sure you check that out. I'll put the description I'll put that link in the description box. And other than that, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Trade on logic, not on hope. For more videos like this, go to www.reallifetrading.com. Thank you.